All right, welcome back. So we have covered several topics over the past few episodes, being one of setting up your branding and Instagram, getting your logo done, getting your content done, getting hashtags done, and then we slowly moved into TikTok aspect, which is where we are now. So in TikTok, as we left off, what happens in TikTok is it's a bit of a playground. Now, there's a lot of informative things on TikTok, and it can be both fun, educational, and very interactive. But TikTok is a very sensitive platform. So I've heard of many people being banned, blocked, content taken down for various reasons. So it is a place where it is free to do what you like, but often has some consequences. So what we have to try and do is create content on TikTok that, one, will last, number two, won't get taken down, is relevant to your business, and how we use that platform is going to be up to us, but with some strict guidelines. So for example, there are some videos that have been taken down because of scars on people's arms. Videos have been taken down because of drinking, consuming alcohol, or smoking. There's various reasons where TikTok and the artificial intelligence picks up on a lot of background items, a lot of background content. So if you're a restaurant and you're going to be serving alcohol, you may or may not get a warning for those type of things. So we have to be very careful. It has to be very informative yet selective in the process of which we're going to make TikTok videos, much less so than we would for Instagram, for example, where that content will not be blocked. Now, why it's blocked and who blocks it and why and so on and so forth is not of our concern right now, but the content that we want you to put out as a business will be related to this. So on TikTok, one, we have to be very sensitive and caring about the viewers, i.e. the artificial intelligence, watching as well as the potential clients that are watching us. So for example, for a healing center, we may not want to use certain words for healing center because it may go against some traditional or non-traditional medicines, and this may cause a problem as well, where I've heard before. So what we are talking about is, if you're a hair salon, you probably don't have any problems. If you're a restaurant and you consume alcohol on the content, it may be a problem. If you're going to be pushing magic cure for cancer, it will most likely be taken down. So while content is going to be the key, we have to be careful with the content on TikTok. So let's go back to our examples of restaurant and salon. Now, the restaurant will be all right if we consume food and it's done in a way that is not promoting the use of alcohol in the sense that you're getting drunk or partying. Same thing with the salon. We are not going to be, choking people while we're doing our content, cutting hair. So again, it's non-destructive. It's fine. But TikTok is very sensitive. So what we put on TikTok will have to be determined by your business. And if your business is slaughtering cows, obviously it will not make good content. So what we need to do is be selective. And we stick to our restaurant approach and our hair salon that I've been getting back to on. And again, it's going to be light, informative, and very interesting related to that field. So if it's culinary, maybe you cook something differently than everybody else. Maybe you use a special recipe. Those are the kind of things we're going to share. We may not be sharing drinking alcohol or promoting a bottle of wine. So those are the kind of differentiations we have to make. And in TikTok, we can reuse most of that content back in Instagram, which is why I like to put the two together. And if you have Pinterest, if you have other things, you can use a lot of that footage in your Pinterest accounts and things like that as well. And while you're shooting, you shoot both horizontal and portrait, and you can use a lot of that content on your Facebook included in that commercial sense that we're going to be spending money on to do the shoots if you're hiring someone. So what we're going to do is TikTok is going to be our playground. It's going to be the fun. It's going to be the hosting of interesting content related to your business, delivered in a very different way that we're delivering content on Instagram. And the good thing is that all that fun content and all the interesting and maybe somewhat, non-standard content that you would put on Instagram is perfectly fine on TikTok and Facebook. So Facebook, you can post nearly anything. They don't take it down, which is interesting because Instagram is owned by Facebook and vice versa. And some contents are not okay on one platform and okay on the other. So the point is, if you're going to spend some money, let's make content that is going to work on all the platforms. So let's do recipes for restaurants. Let's do informative interviews with the chef and interviews with the staff, having fun, maybe doing your dancing, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be our main focus on TikTok. If you're cutting hair for TikTok, you might want to do a complete interview with your client, your before and after, and again, keep it very safe and very constructive to that particular niche of field that you're going to be sticking with, because those are the kind of people that we're going to bring on board. So obviously, if you're a hair salon, you may bring on a lot of hairstylists and you may have a lot of comments. So depending on what you do and how you do it, if you're doing hair coloring in a certain way, and like again, I'm not an expert on hair coloring, but it will definitely be a controversial thing that you may do something differently. I see this a lot when people post automotive content and paint and wrapping. There's a lot of comments because people do things different way in different parts of the world, for example. And what may be considered very primitive in one part of the world where they set your hair on fire and cut it with whatever gels they use would not be okay in a North American salon. So same thing with the food. In China or in Asia or in India, you may have very, very different ways of cooking something, or what you're cooking may be very different than what you would be cooking in a Toronto kitchen, a New York kitchen, or a kitchen in Bali, Indonesia, which is where I am. And in Bali, we have a lot of different cuisines because there's a lot of different ethnicities and people come here from all over the world, yet it's a pretty safe place to eat. Now, when we go into China and some of those other places, and I'm not picking on China, I'm just saying that there are some interesting culinary delights in different parts of the world. So, again, wherever you are, be careful of the content you choose, because setting people's hair on fire and posting it somewhere may not be the best thing or your TikTok content, but it might be perfectly fine for an Instagram video where it is something very, very interesting. And same thing goes for your restaurant. So be careful of what you post on TikTok. Be careful of the content that's created and how it's created and how it's presented. AI is always watching. They can see the bottles of wine behind you. They can see you drinking a cocktail or a glass of red wine. And there are warnings on these platforms that consuming alcohol or smoking goes against your health. And there are warnings, and you don't want to get those warnings because if your account is blocked, it is very, very difficult to get back. So that's our little bit on TikTok. And again, just be careful on what you're posting on there and how you're posting it. But remember that all of the content you're shooting for Instagram Reels are perfectly fine. Even photos are perfectly fine for your TikTok stories. They're perfect for your Facebook stories. They're perfect for your Instagram stories, Instagram posts. So again, keep in mind that you're shooting for more than one platform. And if you don't want to do content for each platform, then you better make sure that every content fits the next platform. And on a mobile version of Facebook, all your pictures will come across as portraits. So it's fine to post it on there since more and more people are consuming these content related items on phones. Some people are still using laptops, of course, computers, it's always going to be around. But for example, our current company that I'm working with, 80% of our users are mobile users. So you're only catering to 20% of portrait. But if you can and you have it and you have YouTube and you want to prepare for YouTube and Facebook, then you may as well shoot it in both horizontal and portrait modes. So be careful with TikTok. It's an interesting platform, and be careful what you post and how you post it and what you say. Okay, guys, that's our little bit on TikTok. And look back at the previous content I had on Instagram and how to set up your branding and making sure that your branding is consistent throughout the platforms. You do not want your logo different from Instagram to Facebook to TikTok. You want brand recognition. So keep that in mind all the time. Thank you, guys.